Oh, not. I mean, yeah, agreed.
Testing, testing. All right, yeah, we can take a seat. We can get going. Sorry, we are starting a little late today. We got into the building a little later than we normally do, but we overcame. Later in this meeting, we're gonna talk about precinct delegates. We'll learn more about precinct delegates. If you know what your precinct is that you're in, that's great. If you don't know, try to find out before we get halfway through the meeting. We will also help you when we get to that portion of the meeting. But you can go to mi.gov/vote, and it'll ask you what your precinct, what your address is, and it'll give you your precinct. But we'll go through this exercise later. But if you have the ability, go ahead and start now. So welcome everybody. My name is Carl Laubach. I am the chair of the Royal Oak Area Democratic Club. Sitting at the table right there, the media table, is Mike James. He's our vice chair. Also sitting at that table is Lisa Mason. She is our secretary. And back to that table is Deb Jasinski. She's our treasurer. We're going to do a quick breakout so that everybody can kind of get to know your neighbors and whatnot. So break up into groups of like 5, 6, 7, somewhere around you. And our breakout question is, after 1 year of MAGA, what are some of the good political happenings of 2025? Go ahead. And then someone from your group is going to stand up and let us know what your group came up with. All right? 5 or 6, 5 minutes. Go ahead.
How was your holiday?
Great.
No, it's wonderful, but it also gives you trouble with stores because she knows everybody. Dery.
Why you gonna get it?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I don't like Christmas cards. I dance and I start to get but yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm doing. That's why I know.
But I'll be rapping.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have big speakers, but we have elections. We also have a office.
You're all pretty and justified.
We found out where we were. I am too.
My God. You know, we
On my phone. I was like, oh, that's gonna be.
yeah. Yeah, we're talking about that. About. Yeah, no frying pan, no. And then. But I actually.
All right, so wrapping up, we got 1 minute. You guys got one statement for your group?
Talk too much.
It's pretty clear that we need it, you know.
All right, you guys ready? Are we ready? All right. 2 points of business before we go on. This is the QR for our agenda. It goes to our website, just click on agenda. Secondly, someone left their keys at the table. It's a giant thing of keys.
Not mine.
Table if you're missing the keys.
There.
All right. Raise your hand if you are the member giving a, who's gonna give, go ahead, Callie in the back. What's your group come up with?
This has been a nightmare, but the next thing that we've seen, the next political thing we've seen is the activism, the outrage all around. Lots of young people getting involved and people all across the age spectrum just dialing in and actually wanting to be part of the political system.
Fantastic, yes. Anybody else? Go ahead.
We had no pay. That's one of the things, some, corporate, in politics coming out of the states, like Montana and also Michigan. Elections in New Jersey and, in Virginia for the governor race, election in New York City. Did I say no kings already? Yeah, that's, okay.
Excellent. Yeah, Mom Donnie, yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
You kind of talked about like pulling off the veneer and like showing off who you support, what policies you support, what your friends support, what countries you support. So
Yeah,
that's
drawing lines. Yeah. Anybody over here? Anybody? Kurt?
We pretty much did the same discussion with, no kings rallies, all the positives, things like that.
That activism.
I was pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had to remind people that this is what happened, and again, I'm thinking positively for the future,
Right.
that we. And
That's why we're here. There's so much negative going on. We're here to be a brotherhood together to fight this, right? Anybody over here?
Yeah, we decided that, there's a very strong, list of Democratic candidates coming forward this past year that we hadn't seen before. And of course, as demonstrated with some of the upset elections in various, states and various others.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Anybody else over here?
We talked beside obviously the victories in New Jersey and Virginia, and we've just seen a big shift to the left, which has been insane nationwide. We also talked about Barry Sheffield, first being the mayor of Detroit.
Yes.
77%.
Fantastic. So there are a lot of good things coming out of what the bad MAGA has.
Yeah, we felt that, the Democrats, maybe some independents, maybe some advocates are come together and are sticking together, not one night stand, if you will. So they committed to a long-term, commitment to making change.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. All right, anybody else have any more good stuff coming out of 2025? All right. Our first speaker, our guest speaker is Stella Camerlengo. She's from the Michigan College Democrats, and she's going to tell us all about her organization and how we can help out. So let's give a warm welcome to Stella.
You guys can all hear me? Okay, good morning, guys. I chugged a Red Bull before this, so I am filled with energy to present to you guys today. My name is Stella Camerlengo. I am the president of the Michigan College Democrats. To give you guys a rundown on who we are as an organization, we are one, if not the largest caucuses of the Michigan Democratic Party. We are the parent organization to every single Democratic club across Michigan's college campuses. That encompasses the northernmost parts of the Upper Peninsula at MTech and Northern Michigan, all the way down to Michigan State University, the University of Michigan, Grand Valley State University, everywhere in between. I'll give you a rundown on all of those chapters soon. We have nearly 20 chapters all across Michigan, and we are proudly representing young people and young voices in Michigan's politics. That means electoral politics and official politics. And we're also all volunteer-based. So we are all students that, work likely jobs and also, take full-time course loads and are taking time out of our lives to fight for a better Michigan. Really proud of this team. And a fun fact, actually, is that our Spartans right there are the largest chapter in country. Go Green! In country. So that is a badge of honor that we as the Michigan College Democrats hold. No other state can take that away from us. Okay, so here's a rundown on our executive board, just to put faces to names. That's obviously me, the president. Marcus, our VP, who is at Oakland University. We got Amber, our policy director, who is at the University of Michigan. Annabelle, who's at Michigan State, our chief of staff. Our finance director, Jerry, who's at the University of Michigan. We got Noah, our programs director, who is at Saginaw Valley State University. We got Reese, who's at the University of Michigan, and Allie, who's also at the University of Michigan. All right. Okay, so I told you guys I would give you a rundown on all of our 18 chapters, but here they are. You also have a little bit of a map right there that shows you kind of all of our locations, but we encompass almost every part of the state, and we are still expanding. Our newest chapter is Delta College in the Bay City area, and yeah, we are trying to build up as many chapters as we can going into this election year. Obviously, it's going to be a big year for a lot of us, especially as college students, because we're the ones kind of doing a lot of the calling, doing a lot of the door knocking, mobilizing young people on our campuses. And so just making sure that we have the infrastructure built up in advance of the election, that is something that we have really been striving to do. Okay, so here are some fun little photos from our wonderful members. So we got a few of our very own college Democrats at the Democratic National Convention as voting delegates that got to help get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz on the ballot for 2024. You can see this spans, I don't even know how many people are in this room, but it was a packed room at the University of Michigan for the presidential debate watch party. We got our own Saginaw Valley State University Dems greeting Joe Biden when he came to campus, which has been really, really cool. We got a bunch of college Dems standing behind Governor Whitmer at a bill signing for just helping bolster Michigan jobs and Michigan's energy. We got Mallory McMorrow, who you guys may know. I don't know if she's visited you guys yet. She's running for U.S. Senate. And she showed up to our convention that we hold twice a year. And then we also got Michigan State University Dems. right there holding an event on their campus. So we are mobilizing so many college students and hard at work every single day, even on winter break. I'm currently on winter break right now and presenting to you guys. I am just so proud of this team and the work that we have accomplished in this past year. Obviously, we didn't see as many Democratic victories as we wanted to in 2024, but just hoping that we don't repeat the mistakes we made and are able to go into 2026 with open eyes and are just working as hard as we can to get Democrats elected. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a rundown on the work we have been up to as a statewide organization. First and foremost, we have our policy platform. So this is a project that we created to essentially give people and candidates who are running for office that want to seek our endorsement something tangible that they can read and look at to show them directly what young people support. This has been a project of our policy team for a very, very long time, and it gets amended every couple months so that, it stays as relevant as possible. But we wanted to make sure that candidates had something tangible that they could incorporate into their campaigns for 2026. And so we created this policy platform, and we use it a lot. I'll talk about it a little bit later. And it just talks about the key issues: gender equality, the economy, reproductive justice, affordability, the cost of living, LGBTQIA equality, all of that stuff. And if you guys want to take an in-depth look at it, you can visit micollegedems.org, and we will have everything laid out there. Okay, next slide. Woo. Hope I'm not boring you guys. I hope this is interesting. Okay, so our policy platform essentially is used to make these scorecard reports. They are a little bit controversial. We have gotten a little bit of backlash for them, but that's okay. In the name of transparency, we try our best to make sure that young people know, what these elected officials stand for. They're Democrats, but we are a big tent party. And we have a lot of Democrats that, don't support college students, and we want to make sure that college students know that. And so they're kind of designed to rank how these officials, value young people and what we believe in. And so we use a weighted point grading system to make sure it is transparent and as least biased as possible. We have legislative alignment, which is 35 points. It talks about what have you sponsored? If you are an elected official, what have you co-sponsored? What have you voted on? What is your voting record? Whether that be in the legislature here, in the legislature in DC, in your local city council, whatever it may be. Student issues. Do you believe in defending DEI? Do you believe in student protests that are happening on campus? Do you believe in anything on the MICD platform? And then we also talk to our chapters directly from the local areas that we grade those politicians. We talk about public statements and messaging. What are you openly talking about, whether that be in your speeches, on your social media, anything like that. Engagement with MICD chapters. Are we being used as more than just a photo opportunity? Are you coming to listen to us? Are you just showing up to make sure you're talking to our general membership and all of that good stuff? Endorsements. Who have you been endorsed by outside of the college Dems? Students Demand Action, or any progressive endorsements essentially. Any anti-student groups, obviously, we don't support as much. And then, oh no, what happened? My computer. Yeah, she fell asleep. Oh no. And then we also emphasize community roots. If you're from Michigan, we like you a little bit more. Do you have a background in public service? All of that good stuff. And then we use that to essentially grade them. So I think we came out recently with the gubernatorial scorecard, if I'm not mistaken. That's our most recent. So you can check that out on at my college Dems on our Instagram. But yeah, more to come on this soon as well. Speaking of our Instagram, here is our social media if you guys want to scan our QR code. So we post as consistently as possible, or at least try to post as consistently as possible on our social media, because we know that that is where we can reach students the best. We know that people our age are very unfortunately chronically online. And so we want to make sure that we are bringing and disseminating information to them directly and meeting them where they are. And so we have an Instagram, which is just MI College Dems. And then I think our Twitter is also just MI College Dems. So you can follow us on there. But last election cycle, we got a pretty good run for our views. We got a video of Tim Walz when he was deboarding his plane because the University of Michigan College Democrats got to greet him right as he was getting off the plane. That got 201K views. And then we got a video that we did with Distill Social, which is a local newsroom. I don't know if you guys are familiar, and collabed with them, and that got a pretty good viewing as well. So we're very proud of the work that we've been doing on there, and I'll talk about kind of how we do research and how we disseminate that information in the following slides. Okay, so something that our policy team loves to do is research. They do a lot of research on different issues that are impacting Michigan, different issues that are impacting the country, different issues that are impacting the local community, whether that be in Lansing or Ann Arbor or Grand Rapids or Marquette up north. So these are some examples that we have posted on our Instagram. We talked about cash bail reform, which is very, very interesting. We talked about Texas Law HB 7, which essentially attacks abortion pill access and how that could potentially impact Michigan if a Republican governor is elected in 2026. We talked about Crystal Clark, who was an incarcerated Michigander who was impacted by mold poisoning and didn't get the health care she needed. And then we talked about the really, pardon my French, shitty budget that came out of the legislature and kind of what Republicans have been up to in their tomfoolery up in Lansing. So we try our best to make Michigan politics as accessible and just as simple as possible for young people to be able to digest, because, you know, that's where we can reach them the best and all of that good stuff. So if you want to check that out, once again, micollegedems.org. I'm going to keep plugging it because it's awesome and I love our Instagram. Okay, so this is the biggest project that our policy team has worked on. It is called the Policy Analysis Recommendation Report. So the Policy Analysis Recommendation Report, or PAR for short, is the kind of summer project that our policy team worked on. When I was elected as president of the organization, I kind of talked to my team and I was like, hey, we really messed up this last election. What went wrong? Can we dig into what went wrong? And how can we fix that going into 2026? And so we, or our policy team, which was led by Amber Henson and our deputy Tyler Weasel, they looked into young people and party dynamics. We talked about how Michigan's youth turnout went up, but the nationwide turnout for young people went down. And obviously we saw a big shift among young people to the right, and then kind of pitched how, and I don't know how, if you guys are very familiar with the coordinated campaign, the one campaign, we talked about kind of the issues we had with the one campaign. We had a lot of toes that were stepped on, to be very transparent with you guys on our campuses, and we wanted to make sure that didn't happen again. And so we took all of this information and we put it into a document, we put it into a slideshow, and we pitched it directly to the chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, Curtis Hertel, and kind of gave him a rundown on like, hey, here are the issues we saw. We don't want this to happen again. We would love to work with you guys to make sure this is, we are being as successful as possible and no toes are being stepped on again and all of this good stuff. And so we've kind of come to a compromise and we are really, really excited to be organizing on our college campuses. We have knocked 38,000 doors, made 19,000 phone calls. We have seen 133% membership growth since 2020. So the movement is here. We just have to make sure that it lasts going into this election. So, yeah. Hold on. Okay, guys, I'm almost done with the boring stuff, I promise, and then you guys can ask me questions. But research and fact sheets, this is all of the kind of research, or at least what it looks like, that goes into what we post on our social media. Detroit mayoral fact sheet, talked about the mayor's race. We talked about how DTE and consumers has a chokehold on our politicians. We talked about the job market, why young people are struggling so much to find a job and how we can help as college Dems. And then we talked about resources for ICE, for our communities, and all of that good stuff. Oh, Hello. What the heck? Guys, stay. So sorry. Emails. Woo! Everyone loves receiving emails from their candidates, but we also do emails. I have a is it in the back? Is it Alec? Is it next to you? Yeah. So I brought a wonderful clipboard that Alec behind me is holding up, and I'm gonna pass it around when I'm done with this presentation. But if you guys are interested in anything you saw here today, you guys can be added to our email list to keep up with what we're doing across the state. We have testimonials from our team, talk about why they're a member of the College Dems. That's actually me and my childhood best friend right there when we went to daycare. It was very, very cute. But yeah, we write these all ourselves. Our wonderful finance director is who leads this whole operation. And he's been doing an excellent job with that. So I'll be making my rounds. I really hope you guys put your name and your email down so that we're able to contact you guys after this and we're able to just keep in touch. Oh, wonderful. I thought I was almost done, but I am so excited to talk about this. So twice a year, in the spring and in the fall, we hold our Michigan College Dems Convention. This is when Michigan College Dems from across the state are able to come to a concentrated location, meet each other, talk about our Constitution, amend our Constitution, talk about our plans going into the next season, the next election cycle, and just overall have fun and have a good time. We had some really, really wonderful sponsors. This last convention in the fall was held at the University of Michigan, and then our next one will likely be held, I think, at Michigan State, hopefully. But we had some wonderful sponsors. We had the Washtenaw County Dems help sponsor. We had Statewide Indivisible Michigan, Rank MI Vote, Men for Choice helped sponsor. So we had a bunch of wonderful sponsors, and this could not have been done without our donors and sponsors, which we thank so dearly. We got some pictures right here. We got some of our chapter leaders speaking. We had some community building activities, and it was just overall a really, really wonderful time. And I'm really, really excited for our spring convention where we elect our new board. So, want to know how to help? Well, you're in luck. You can donate to us. So we are fully grassroots funded. I do a lot of call time myself, and our finance team does a lot of donor research. We are completely independently funded by small dollar donations. We unfortunately do not get any money from the Michigan Democratic Party. So this is all independently funded. We would appreciate literally $1, $5. Anything helps to help mobilize these college students going into the election. We know how important resources are for young people on the ground that are tabling and hosting these events, and we want to make sure that we are supporting our college students as much as possible at the statewide level. So literally anything helps. I really just appreciate you guys for listening to me first and foremost. I know I see some young people in the room, which is super duper awesome to see, because I've kind of been going around and presenting about the work that we've been doing, and it's been very, very hard to invigorate the young generation, and that's what we hope to do on our college campuses, especially going into 2026. And it's going to take a village. So if you guys, obviously we'll do questions, but if you want to talk to me individually, I'll be staying for the entire time. If you guys want to exchange phone numbers or contacts, I would love to talk to every single one of you about any ideas you may have for the College Dems. The youth vote is very, very important, and we know that every single election cycle because we talk about it every single election cycle. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that 2024 does not happen again. So yeah, that's my presentation, guys. Anyone have a question? Limited time?
I never said I was. 5 questions, 5.
5? Okay, I'll take you all the way in the back. Yes.
You said the MVP doesn't give you any funding. Why?
Okay, I'm gonna be fully transparent with you guys. I fear they are in debt a little bit. But that's kind of been an ongoing issue. That has kind of been an ongoing issue for a very, very long time, and we are very understanding of it. Obviously doing call time and doing independent fundraising is way more difficult, which is how you guys come in and can help us. So it's something that we totally understand. We've had this conversation with Curtis many times, and we're very understanding of it. So yeah. Yes.
Put your donation screen back up so people can give you money.
Oh.
I got it done.
I'm curious about momentum, right?
Yes.
That we kind of have used that a lot. And I know that consistency is so important when we're trying to movement build.
Yes.
How do you, like, it's really difficult, and probably my high school Dem friends are thinking the same thing. You have so much turnover, right? When you're working with a community that's only on campus for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that turnover and kind of some more like institutional things? Because we're lucky to work with a community, right, that we're like pretty permanent here at Royal Oak in theory.
Yeah.
But how do you keep that going?
So something that we really try to emphasize is getting as many of the younger underclassmen involved as possible so that they're retained and are able to, use their 4 years to their advantage. I started with the Michigan College Dems. I started getting involved my first semester of my freshman year, and now I am a second semester junior in college. And so I have been involved in this since the beginning, and I think that's really helped me. Obviously, like, this is my lifeline. Like, this is all when you get involved in Democratic politics, it's kind of like, it becomes your life. And so, we really try our best to make sure that we are taking in as many of the freshmen and the sophomores as possible, so that they're able to kind of grow into their passion for politics, and they're able to see the difference that they make and have fun and make friends. Because at the end of the day, like, although we're working for a better Michigan, like, I have found the best friends of my life doing this. And so, being able to build that community is something that I think is really, really important. And we try to emphasize that with the younger folks.
Yeah. And where are you a student?
I'm at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Yeah. I start school on Wednesday, unfortunately. Yes.
Yes. I'm really impressed with the fact that you have organized the viewpoints of your membership, and you're pushing the politicians around you to accept and represent the viewpoints of your membership, instead of following the politicians and being an arm of them.
We're very tired of the do nothing Democrats, as they say. I'm a very blunt person. Yeah.
I was in the Young Democrats in college, and we tended to follow the politicians around, and you guys are not. I'm so impressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How big are the plans for you guys to expand, like, on college campuses? I'm going to Kalamazoo College. I'm just wondering if for the time being I should be going to, like, the Western.
I mean, that's actually perfect. Let's get in contact. Let's see if you're willing to start up a chapter on Kalamazoo College. So our expansion kind of starts with a focal person, someone who's like, I want to get involved, but I don't know where to start, and I don't have a chapter on my campus. And so I tell them, I'm like, have you thought about maybe starting up your own chapter, building up your own team of people, finding people who are interested in this and building that community locally? And we have been very successful in the fact that we got Delta College, we got community colleges, we got Washtenaw Community College, we got Grand Rapids Community College. And so we know that this can happen on smaller campuses. It just is a matter of who's willing to start it up and who is interested in actually being the person no one wants to be the person to actually do all the work and do all the paperwork, but it really is possible. So let's get in contact to see how you can best get involved. Any other questions? I'm trying to get this verse of yes.
Just to build on what Mike, in terms of being leaders,
yes.
What are the 3 policy issues that are resonating most with college Dems?
Okay, so that's 3 things. A lot of things that we're passionate about. Okay, so I think the first thing, and I've mentioned this in another group because I've gotten a similar question, but like, we are getting very invested in money in our politics. We've been trying to take a much stronger stance on corporate PAC money and corporate donations. And so we have kind of been doing we've been very vocal on that. I think we recently posted about it on our social media, just kind of telling candidates, like, we understand you need to out fundraise the Republicans, but like, it's not a very transparent way to govern, and it's not very for the people, I might say. And then second and third. Second and third. I mean, obviously we're talking about social issues. Social issues is a very, very important thing. So that means like LGBTQ rights, civil rights. We're seeing a rollback of all of that throughout the Trump administration. And I think that's invigorated a lot of young people. Also just like, seeing families ripped apart is something that's very, very scary for a lot of us. And a lot of our college Dems know neighbors or friends or relatives that have been impacted by ICE and the rates that are happening there. So that's something that we're really passionate about. And I think just making sure that our elected officials are doing something. A lot of us are very frustrated just kind of with people sitting around with their little hoity-toity little seats and not, actually working to push bipartisan legislation. So we love our allies in the Michigan legislature and hope to expand those allies. And yeah, just making sure that we are acting instead of just, writing strongly worded letters and all of those good things. So yeah, just making sure that we're doing the best we can to make sure we're making an impact. Yes. This is the last question. Oh no. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So one of the things, you are college Dems, so you are going to be on college campuses. But
Yes.
then again, you think about the Dems and kind of the criticism, it's like college-y.
Yes.
It's hard to get to the community colleges, and I appreciate your
Yeah. Yes, I can attest.
or commuter campuses like U of M Dearborn, like Wayne State.
Mhm.
But those are almost who stereotypically it feels like the Dems are leaving behind.
Yes.
And so it's hard because they're also commuting. They have different priorities, and they're there only for 2 years, a split second.
Mhm.
What is the strategy? How are you thinking? Because I think that otherwise we're kind of just keeping in that same elite kind of bubble.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Something that I am really proud of
I
is
have used it for my question.
So something that I was really, really proud of this last semester is that our most recent chapter that we just started up is actually at the University of Michigan Dearborn, which has been something that we have been trying to achieve for a very, very long time and finally got to achieving. And I think it really is just being as rooted in community as possible and like building these because at the end of the day, like, yes, you are working with these people, but at the end of the day, they are also your peers and your friends. And you should be able to build those personal relationships with those people to make sure that you are able to work together and make as tangible of an impact as you would like possible. Once again, I already emphasized this, but like pulling in the younger folks, our WCC college Dems are run entirely by dual enrolled high school students. And they are young people that are applying to colleges and are going to get involved on their college campuses, but already know how to run a chapter entirely, which is something that I think is really, really, really interesting. And we've never navigated that before. That's kind of the first time we've had to navigate it, but we saw people who were involved at a community college and wanted to get involved. And so we obviously couldn't say no and wanted to make sure that they were members of the College Democrats just as much as people at Michigan State or Northern Michigan University or Grand Valley State University. So yeah, that's kind of, I hope that answered your question a little bit more, just making sure that we are pulling in the younger folks. I have a year and a half to like graduate. Finding a job is going to be a pain in the ass, but yeah, just making sure that young people are getting as involved as possible. So yeah, is that it? Oh, yeah. I'm going to pass around the clip.
And I'll also put all of their information up on our next email so that you guys can all donate there as well. All right, next up, we're going to have Deb Olszewski come up. She's going to give us her treasurer's report. as well as talk a little bit about ballot signature collecting. So let's welcome Deb.
Stella, you did new post, that's so cool. The checking account is $5,071.11. The internship fund has $120.02, and the Royal Oak Rising Fund has $111. Your dues are due. I took anyone who paid me last month is going for 2026. So anytime you want to pay online or here in cash, you can do that. Secondly, in the back, I have a table with petitions. One is the Invest in Michigan Kids that will raise taxes on the very wealthy and put it in the fund just for schools here in Michigan. And the other one is Money Out of Politics, which would prevent corporations like DPE and Blue Cross from donating to political campaigns, which we think would go a long way to cleaning things up in Lansing. And the other thing I want to say is that I am having a house party for Natalie Price, running for state senate at my house on October 11th. There are flyers in there. If you want to pick one up, please do. Let's see, did I say? You know, I have a nephew with a birthday October 11th. I'm saying that, it's January. You're in. Thank you.
What time was it again?
2 to 4.
Okay, thanks.
It was interesting. I am trying out new hearing aids today, and they really help. I couldn't hear the back of the room, and I couldn't hear the bar usually. I did well last night. They were French.
Sound system.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is like that. Yeah.
When would we make a motion at the end for a donation to the Michigan College?
Now we're gonna go to, you guys, we have a lot of exciting things coming up in 2026. So for our club, we obviously have this giant election coming up in November. We have a primary come up in August, but this club specifically, we are gonna be hosting a youth summit in March. And we're looking for some big speakers. We're gonna hopefully gather a lot of youth. Hopefully we can have the College Democrats come talk, which will be fantastic. But to tell us all about that is Matt Wilkins and Charlie Freedom. They're going to come up and talk about our planning for our youth summit. Welcome these guys up here. So we just are making the initial planning. We're still trying to get the agenda and everything. So we're trying.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Don't be shy, guys. So it's gonna be March 21st, Saturday. It's gonna be at Bamboo in downtown Royal Oak from 12 to 4. And besides that, we don't have any other information yet. But yeah, so that's the plan. We're working on getting the agenda together and speakers. So that's Carl's on the pavement to get speakers. Anything else?
I'm the young person in the group, in case you're interested. So the club is making a significant investment in Bamboo. We have the entire facility basically for the summit, 75 to 100 people. It's a very youth-oriented format, so it should be pretty exciting. We're in the process now of organizing the agenda, and where's Stella? Hey, Stella, we're really glad you're willing to participate. Clear your calendar, March 21st. All right, Stella, let's hear for Stella again. Fantastic. And then I'll pass it on to Cameron and Norman, who've been involved in the organization.
So, hello, everyone. Update for high school Dems also. I'd like to announce that we have some new people here. That's not just me and Owen here today. Morgan, Bella, and Nolan. Thank you for being here.
Why don't you have a stand up?
Guys, stand up, please. So, thank you for coming to your first meeting. That's one of the new things you've been doing. Me, Owen, and a couple of our leaders met over break and holidays to plan for the rest of the year. have more meetings and figure out how we can get guest speakers in our meetings again, and talk to politicians like Natalie or our local politicians like Lauren, and school board and other things that are happening. We're helping out, or at least I'm advising Royal Rising on this, on the youth summit. The plan is to basically just have a bunch of guest speakers and a bunch of vocational opportunities for youth to either get involved in politics or find a way to get it in their resume, to find jobs for it, how to make a life out of it if they want to. That's generally the idea. And I think that might be it, right? All right, awesome.
All right.
All right, don't forget, you guys, that this is the end of the year. Your dues are kind of due. So you can click on one of the QR codes to go ahead and pay, and that's the way to do it. We also have extra funds set up. You can also donate. Once you get to the site, you'll be able to see what's going on. All right, we're going to go into a little bit of old business right now. We have a bylaw language change, and for that, we're going to have Mike James come on up and talk about that. Come on up, Mike James.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
We don't often change our bylaws for good reasons because they're actually pretty good bylaws, but a number of us would like to make a small change in the bylaws. Traditionally, and I thought it was in the bylaws, but traditionally what we've done is if you get elected to office, you retire as an officer of the Royal Oak Democratic Club. And there's a reason for that, because our purpose is much different than the purpose of an office holder. When you get elected to office, you have to represent people who disagree with you and who agree with you. You have to find the general community interest at the time and try to represent that as best as you can. You may go against that sometimes, but generally as an office holder, you need to kind of stick to the community interest and what they need, even the people who disagree with you. The difference is and that's where the conflict comes in. We are a grassroots organization. We're not here to represent the general interests of everybody who disagrees with us. We are here to press the interests of our group, our members. I represent you. I don't represent me as vice chair, okay? I represent people who disagree with me. And, but as a grassroots group, I have to represent you against, I have to represent you in regards to our office holders. I have to press your interests. And so we have a special role to play in the process. We are the thorn in the side. We press our politicians to move on issues that we think are important. There will be people in the community who disagree with us, but it's our interests that we're representing. So when we have a politician heading our group, what happens is they're trying to represent the broader community and they're trying to represent us. And there's a conflict. As a grassroots organization, it's our job to be the thorn in the side and to press for a better future, press for issues that are important to us. So that's the reason why we don't necessarily have politicians as office holders in our club. It is not officially in our bylaws. And so the wording that I'm proposing, which is up here, is that we say if you're an office holder, you can't be an officer of the Royal Oak Democratic Club. And that way we separate the interests. We can pursue our interests without having to compromise. I've also added in a little bit of wording saying if you are the paid staff of a political candidate, that you cannot be an officer of the Royal Oak Democratic Club. So that limits that limits a little bit of who can run, but I think the trade-off is a benefit to us and our interests. And so that's the proposed wording up here. I think I'm done.
Okay. So I hope you'll consider it.
Just a little bit of clarification to what you said. It's a paid staff of an office holder, not a candidate. Right? That's what the text says.
The language says, any member in good standing 30 days prior to election, and this is the added language, who is not publicly elected office holder, excluding precinct delegates, and who is not paid staff member of a publicly elected office holder. So you're true, correct.
Okay. Just
Yep, that covers it. Good question.
Is it like current or ever?
These are our bylaws by which we operate,
So like if you're an elected official or a member currently or ever?
oh,
Currently.
Currently.
Okay, currently.
one more thing. If we have a, alternate viewpoint, you can have the microphone too. Sure. So does anybody have any alternate viewpoints?
Yeah.
Would you like to come up? Yeah, go on.
good job.
Kind of know, Ian knows a little bit about this kind of stuff, so he should have good input.
Yeah, so I fully respect and appreciate the work that Mike has put into this. I respect the proposal to embed this in our language. This is kind of a norm that we've lived by with the club as long as I've been involved. We've had, in the time I've been involved, we've had one person who would be disqualified, and that would have been Michael Tash, who stepped in when we had no one else who was willing to step up and be the chair of the club.
Mm-hmm.
And so my issue with this is I think that we are, as Democrats, we love process. And sometimes we put out, you know, that meme with the kid who puts the stick in his bike and then falls and wonders why. I think that we sometimes do that as Democrats by over creating process. And I think that maintaining this as a norm, given that we haven't had a problem with this, allows for that flexibility in the event that we do have someone that needs to step in or maybe takes a job while serving in a position and wants to maybe finish out their term, et cetera. I can understand and respect if people do want to codify this. I just think personally that we're creating additional barriers to solve problems that we're not having.
All right, Paul, you want to come up?
Seems like we're in the discussion phase. So, yeah, just to counter what Ian said, that like, oh, it wasn't a problem. We tried to get a guest speaker here. We could not get Barbara Bearfield and a boss with Michael Tash. He put the kibosh on our being able to bring these speakers to your group, and they were great speakers, right? So it was a problem, and we don't want to make sure it happens again. And I think, you know, yeah, it was great that Michael stepped up when we needed someone, but maybe we would have found someone else if we tried a little harder. So I don't think that should be a reason for us not following through on this change to our bylaws.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Larissa.
Question, so like, I love governance, actually. And so to me, if this feels like, do we as a club have a conflict of interest policy for our board members? And it may be that, because conflict of interest is, that it could be like, it's just too pervasive in terms of policies, but typically things like this would have been managed through a conflict of interest disclosure of some sort, and then managed where then that person perhaps who had the conflict would be excluded from the ultimate decision. I don't know. I'm just asking the question and seeing if that is a lever that we could use more intentionally. It might be that the policy issues are just too pervasive and it's hard to say I have a conflict or not a conflict, but just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, we don't have any written like ethics rules or anything like this. This would be our attempt of adding it to our bylaws. This club is run by 5 pages of language. That's our bylaws, 5 pages long. So really, this is just a way to codify some type of ethics. Anything. Mike, what else do you have to add?
The current process would be to throw the chair out of office somehow.
So there's no managing a conflict in a
It's
disclosure.
the discretion of the chair.
Exclusion. Okay.
It's currently the discretion of the chair only.
Tom?
I wanted to agree with Paul's statement. This is in response to an issue. And then I just wanted to clarify, this only applies to 4 positions: chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. We have a volunteer board, and elected officials and employees of elected officials are welcome to serve on the volunteer board, which does a lot of the work, planning guest speakers and so on. So this only applies to the 4 elected officer positions. It's pretty narrow.
Yeah, to help give a little more context to this. So there's a 4-board elected board. There's an executive committee consisting of about 10, 12, 15 people that we meet quarterly, and they guide the 4-person board. So that's like, well, for example, Michael Tash could have served on that with this rule in place.
Well, I do.
So
That's a
it-
good example.
Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah.
What's your good example?
No, I just said I
It's you, Lauren.
it's a good example.
Lauren is a living example of this exact thing. So, yes, and she was brought in when no one else took the position of chair and worked fantastically, but she ended up going on to be a school board member as well.
Yeah, so I stepped down from being an officer, but remain on the board as
The committee.
the executive committee. Sorry, I don't. Oh, yeah, whatever I am. Yeah, that, so I still help support and give insight and I think provide important insight, from the city and from the schools.
Yes, she does.
But, but do not make like the ultimate decisions for club procedures and meetings. Okay.
Okay, any more discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will bring the language one more time. So, Article 5, Section 2 says, any member in good standing 30 days prior to elections, and this is where we start new language, who is not a publicly elected office holder, excluding precinct delegates, and who is not a paid staff member of a publicly elected office holder, that's the end of the new language, may run for office position of the club. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so I will call for the vote. First of all, you have to be a club member. I know we have more than just club members here.
Dues paying.
I'm sorry, dues paying members. So if you're a dues paying member, you can vote. If you are not, 6-7. Dave, Dave has a question in the back.
Part of this, the statement says you can't be 30 days prior to. It doesn't say that after you're elected, you can.
You're not gonna be elected.
Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? The language says 30 days prior to election. Post-election, does it say you must maintain this distance during your term? Does it say, you understand what I'm saying? I hate to be the lawyer in the back.
I understand that, and we could write another 7 pages to cover every possible scenario. However, I don't think that this club needs that. I think we all know the intent of this language, and we would hope going forward, we follow at least the intent.
Understood. And we're a small group, if we can vote on something new, and if a problem arises, we all agree it's a problem, we'll act on it.
We'll change it up again.
Does that make sense too? I
Yeah.
just was thinking like, okay, what else is there about this?
Put in the minutes. Is this horse beaten enough yet?
Yes.
Any more discussion? I don't mean to rush democracy here, but any more discussion? We do have a calendar or a time slot. Okay, I'm calling for voting, members in good standing for a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand and keep them up. So 28 in favor. Do I have any nays? Raise your hand. I have 4 nays. Motion passes. This is now in our bylaws. All right. Well, technically, we cannot demand dues. Dues are voluntary. So if you are a member, you've been paying in the past, you are still a member. We are asking, because it is the beginning of the year, that you, before you leave here today, please pay your dues. Okay. Next, old business. We are up for elections. So I will start with nominations for chair of this club. Any nominations for chair of this club? Paul, do you have a nomination?
Yeah, I nominate you, Carl.
Paul, that's very kind. Do I have a second? Okay, seconded by Lauren. Any more nominations? You're kidding, none? All right, well, I will close nominations and I guess I will accept it. Oh, my ego, can we get a vote? Please go. It's man. I know. All right, gotta get a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 34 in favor. Any nays? All right, good job, guys. All right. Thank you very much. I would say we do have an exciting year. We got a youth summit, we have Dems in there, we have primaries, we have a giant election. Can't wait to lead you guys through that. Now I'm opening up the floor for nominations for vice chair. Tom?
I nominate the incumbent, Mike James. He's done an excellent job, very conscientious, takes it very seriously, works very hard. I think he'll be an excellent vice chair continuing.
I have a nomination for Mike James. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mary Mills. Any other nominations? All right, I will close nominations. Mike, do you have anything to say?
I accept your nomination. Thank you, and I will continue to support your agenda that you create with Carl over the next year.
Yay. Thank you, Mike. I'll go for a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. It's 34. 34. Any nays? No nays. Mike, you're our vice chair. I will open nomination for secretary. Lauren.
I'd like to nominate Lisa Mason.
I have a nomination for Lisa Mason.
Second.
Second by, who was over there? Paul Bastian. Any other nominations? I will close nominations. Lisa, do you have anything to say?
Well, thank you. I love this club. I love all of you. It's great to be a part of it. I'm honored to serve as your secretary. One of my more fun duties is picking a place for social night. So if you have a recommendation or an idea, please let me know. And thank you very much for the honor of nominating me.
Fantastic. All right, I'll talk to the vote. All those in favor, Lisa, raise your hand. It's 34. Any nays? Lisa, you are our secretary. Opening floor for nominations for treasurer. Claire. Nomination for Deb Olszewski. Second by Joanne. Any other nominations? I will close nominations. Deb, you have anything to say?
Knowing all of you, it's been a lot of fun, and I hope to continue.
Thank you. All right, we'll go for a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. It's 33. Any nays? All right, Deb, congratulations to our treasurer. Thank you, guys. All right, if I could get William Asher up here. William Asher is our precinct delegate liaison, and he's going to carry us through a little bit of an exercise about knowledge about precinct delegate. So let's welcome William Asher. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Precinct delegates. Precinct delegate is an elected office for the most direct local representative of the Democratic Party. They work within their neighborhoods to engage and inform voters, as well as get out the vote for Democratic candidates. Active and informed PDs are the foundation of the Democratic electoral efforts and help win elections. They can identify which voters to contact by using a powerful tool called WAVE. One thing they can't do is advocate for candidates in contested primaries, though. We can't, because we have to be, allow them to be independent. Precinct delegates are placed on the ballot and elected in the August primary in even numbered years. Those wishing to fill the role of a PD prior to the election can be a precinct volunteer, a PV. To be a PD, you have to be 18, you have to be a registered voter. So any young people who want to be precinct delegates would have to be precinct volunteers instead. Precinct delegates have a fast track into the statewide Democratic convention. First of all, they are exempt from the rule requiring MDP membership 30 days prior to the convention. And secondly, they have a short line. If you go to the convention, you can get in the short line and get in quickly. The next convention is April 19 in Detroit, and that's where the party is going to nominate the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, State Supreme Court, and boards of the universities. Those things don't go to primaries, and the Michigan Democratic Party convention will decide that, and precinct delegates have a fast track to get there. What I wanted to do today, we did this a few years ago, Paul will remember, I'm sure, is for everybody to go to the poster where your precinct is. I have Clausen precincts in the back, 1 through 4, and Royal Oak precincts of 1 through 15 way over there. Actually, 14 and 15 are at the 2 tables in the back, because I ran out of room on the walls. What I want you to do is go to where your precinct is and talk among yourselves with your fellow precinct residents about what kinds of grassroots activities you can do in your precinct, anything that will fulfill the goal of informing and enabling Democratic voters and getting the vote out. If you're already a precinct delegate, let your fellow residents know and encourage them to consider volunteering as a precinct delegate. Each of the maps has a sign-up sheet below with a place where you can put your name, email, and phone number, and then I can get in touch with you to go over the next steps. The next step primarily is filling out an affidavit. I do not have it with me, but I can get it to you later. Existing PDs have to re-up. They have to sign up an affidavit again for the next election, which will be again in August. So when we're done with our precinct caucuses, just like take 4 or 5 minutes at the different areas around the room. When we're done, I'll ask for volunteers from a few of the precincts to report back on the kinds of ideas you came up with. If you're not a resident of Royal Oak or Clausen, just go to a precinct of your choice and talk with people there. Doesn't really matter where you go. But the residents, I would prefer if you actually go to the stations that belong to you. So, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to add, William, just maybe you want to emphasize there's a date in May that the affidavits need to be submitted to the Oakland County Clerk in order to be on the August ballot.
Yeah, it's May 4th.
So,
yes.
Yeah, the affidavit has to be notarized. I'm a notary and I'm here every meeting. So if you just bring the affidavit to this meeting, I will notarize it for you for free.
Yeah. Tom's been doing that for 3 years and we really appreciate that. If you don't know your precinct number, as Carl mentioned, you can go to mi.gov/vote and click on Am I registered? And then it'll tell you what your precinct number is. Of course, it's on your voter card if you happen to have it with you.
It's not oriented in my brain. Tell me a little bit more. You're saying we can engage people. What is the actual role? Is there something related to the election where we have to be present, anything like that? Yeah, can you be more specific?
It's something that you kind of have to come up for yourself, really. There's training available. I should have mentioned this is an organization called DIPDOC, Democratic Precinct Delegates of Oakland County. And they go through all sorts of things that you can be doing. But what I've done is, as prior to the election, after the primary, before the election, is created a flyer and brought it with me door to door in my precinct, and just told people, here are the Democrats running for office, and elections on this day, and tell them about absentee voting. We'll actually know whether they're already on the absentee voting list, because we have a tool, a wave tool, can tell you whether they're on it. And if they're not, we can encourage them to be on the absentee voter list. Or we can also tell them about early voting. Make sure that they understand that early voting starts X number of days before the election.
So it's just going to Dem houses that.
Typically, yeah. Some precinct delegates like to engage independents. And there's a lot of good argument to be made for that. Of course, you have to have more intestinal fortitude. But independent could go either way, and it maybe somebody just bringing something to their attention would convince them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we add this. So from my understanding of what a precinct delegate is, I'm a precinct delegate. It is the lowest possible elected official in any party, in the Republican Party or Democratic Party. We're the worms. We are the worms of the party. But we are the hands-on grassroots. So every single address in the state of Michigan, and really throughout the United States, is separated into groups like this, and they call them precincts. And it is, you are assigned the precinct that you live in, and oftentimes, like this precinct might have 11 precinct delegates because it goes by population. So what me and there's only 2 in mine, and we try to engage year-round with our voters. What you get with Michigan Department, Michigan Democratic app, you get all the voters in your precinct, and it tells you how do they vote. They vote Democrat. Did they vote in the last election? And then you can focus on them. You can go to doors. You can send them stuff. If you make a relationship with them, you can text them. You can call them. You can do all this stuff. It's just the lowest grassroots opportunity for you to get to know your neighbors, who votes, and get them to vote, and possibly vote our way. That's really what it is. It's really simple. So this is a really quick exercise. If you don't know exactly what your precinct is, each one of these has a map. You can maybe find your house. And if you really are struggling, come up and see me. I can look you up right here. Okay? So we're going to try to get this done really quick. So go to, if your neighbors are all around, go to what your precinct is and go stand near there and get to meet your neighbors who are also with us.
I would go with water. I think that long was
What's your stream? You are here. You are. Yes, you are. Oh, I know.
All right, guys, look around you. So these are the people that live in your neighborhood. Every single precinct has multiple people they need. All right, you guys can go around and have a seat. Have a seat. Go ahead and have your seat. Let's go back.
Precinct 5,
You guys can go back to your seat.
Yeah, true. You know what? You got a point.
You are young. Now you need to go through the process.
There's so many of us.
Guys, don't forget, I have keys that were left at, does anybody look at these keys and see that they look like theirs? I will keep on trying. I was gonna go around here. Yes.
All right, we gotta move along here, guys.
Do we have, any volunteers from any other groups? We talk about, what you may have, come up with, any ideas or grassroots activities in your precincts? Going once, going twice? Well, oh, Lisa.
Yeah, we just talked about, get everybody's name on there. We need active people. That's what it's about. Get everyone's name on there because we need active people. That's what we.
Okay, I think Lisa's saying that people should get their names on the sheets. We definitely need volunteers. One thing I didn't make it very clear was that each, and Carl kind of mentioned it, each precinct has an allocation of a certain number of precinct delegates, as many as 12 and as few as 4. And if we get those slots fully subscribed, then each precinct delegate will have less responsibilities. It'd be easier. Many hands, right? Many hands. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, if you're a precinct delegate, that does not prevent you from supporting someone in the primary. It just means you don't do it as a precinct delegate, but there's no prohibition against being involved in the primaries if you're a precinct delegate. It's completely separate matters.
Yes, I do that myself. I support several primary candidates, but not when I'm in the capacity as a precinct delegate.
Okay, if anybody has any questions about precinct delegate, I'll make sure in our next email you have a way of getting a hold of William after. All right, thank you, William. All right. We're on to the elected official reports, and just like candidates and elected officials, we go federal, state, judges, county judges, city, school board. All right. So I don't see anybody from federal here. Elected officials on the state level. I see we have Natalie Price, come on up.
Okay, I'm gonna do both. My one side, let's do elected official update. Last time I was here last month, the Republicans had just managed to use a little known loophole to basically disapprove, to get rid of $650 million from a state budget that had already been negotiated, that had already been voted out of the House and the Senate, and the governor had signed it. This was taking away money from organizations and municipalities that were counting on that money to finish out, many of them to finish out a 3-year program, to finish building a bridge that they expected 3 years to build. It was very harmful, not only because it was taking away money from really good efforts that had been negotiated, that had been counting on money from the state, but mostly because it ruins trust in the democratic process. We have a process of negotiating a budget, and by Matt Hall taking this action, I believe it really did some harm to undermine and hurt people's faith in the process. And I keep saying, this is where I think Republicans have a real advantage over Democrats. It is so much easier to break something down than to build it up, right? As Democrats, we believe there is an important role for government in public schools, in healthcare, in infrastructure. And when you pull tricks like this, you are harming the trust and the ability for government to do the good work that we need to be doing. So I let you know that this had happened. I told you I was about to go into the end of the year week in Lansing where I was hopeful. I don't know how hopeful I was, because I am realistic and I call it out, but I would have been enthusiastic to vote in support of restoring that money. Some of you heard about the Senate putting through a supplemental, staying late, coming back, putting through a supplemental to restore all of that money. And they did, and they passed it. We have a Democratic-controlled Senate. That was not hard. Well, I'm grateful for the extra work that they put in to make the message that they wanted to restore that money. Unfortunately, for a supplemental to get the money back in, it needs to go through the Senate and the House and be signed by the governor. It can't just be passed by one chamber like the disapproval of funds. So Of course, Matt Hall did not put up their supplemental. Of course, I didn't have the opportunity to vote in support of that. And so if you have heard through some of the messaging of our partner organizations that the Senate restored those funds, gosh, the Senate wished that they could have. They made a clear statement that they wanted to. But with this divided government and the Speaker of the House that models his behavior on Donald Trump, he is again using every loophole and even things like pocket veto power, keeping bills from going to the Senate that should have gone to the Senate, modeling his behavior on Trump, act first and then figure it out in the courts later. It's incredibly harmful and it's hurting, I think, everybody's faith in government. So what am I doing? I'm going to continue to show up. I'm going to continue to keep you updated, call it out, and use it to motivate people to show up, speak out, Dems who believe in a role for government, education, healthcare, infrastructure, to do some good, to keep coming and fighting for our shared values. I think I also told you that I was hopeful that we might have a fix to really harmful unemployment issue where they're trying to claw back money from people who did the process, who were entitled to those funds, and because of a mistake Michigan made, there are a lot of people who now are owing unemployment money that they shouldn't be. And I did not have the opportunity to vote on that either. So we got to continue fighting for it, continue to ask for it, continue to try to get that fixed because a lot of people are affected. And a lot of people are affected by rising cost of healthcare premiums, rising cost of utilities that we can do something about at the state. The biggest threat to democracy, I will continue to say because I believe it, is money in politics. And just a quick, I guess I have to step over to the side. Now I'm in campaign role. Quick plug for that ballot initiative, right? I am legislatively proudly on the package to hold utility companies accountable. And then campaign side, I am talking and spreading the word that the citizen-led ballot initiative to get money out of politics is the best thing that we can do right now to tackle those interests that are creating rising costs in insurance and utility. We've got to get those interests out of politics. So that is my legislative update. My campaign update is thank you everybody who contributed to the end of your push. I'm very proud that we made our goal. My goal, what I'm plugging are 2 initiatives for my campaign. I'm a state representative. I should have said, Natalie Price is a state representative. I forgot. I always forget that with the script. I'm running for state senate for this new open Senate seat. And I have 2 main asks for those of you who want to keep helping out with the Senate work. So one is, of course, for the youth that all stepped outside. So I'll talk to them. But if any of you know any high school or college students who are interested in helping out with the campaign, we know, and I can tell you guys, I go to a lot of these STEM club meetings in the region. This one gets the most youth participation. You guys have a high school students who consistently show up. They deserve it. But my theory, and this will be testing my theory a little bit, is that part of why you guys are so successful is because you offer a stipend, because you have a program that recognizes the very valuable effort and time that high school students give to our democratic efforts. I think it's really important to pay fellows and interns and recognize that in a livable wage. So I'm starting a new fellowship program. I've got all the details here. The thing that I'm really disappointed doesn't say on here, but I want to get the word out and correct my flyer for the next time, is we are paying $15 an hour. So there's a commitment of 4 to 8 hours a week for anybody who's interested in joining our fellowship program. They will be getting comprehensive training in all aspects of the campaign, field, fundraising, campaign operations. I was a high school teacher before becoming a state rep. I was a team captain back for Voters Not Politicians in 2018, and I oversaw the high school and college fellows for that effort. And then my campaign staff has a lot of experience training and organizing and checking in and mentoring student fellows. So we're going to take all of those skills, trying to build up the next group of trained campaign workers. Again, starting on my campaign at $15 an hour, but hopefully then getting them ready, because as soon as the primary is over, we're going to be going all in on voter turnout, on helping out the marginal seats right in our neighborhood for the House and the Senate to make sure we can bring back the trifecta so we can get good work again. So that's my big push. Please spread the word if you want a flyer to share with a high school or college age person in your life. Let me know. The other big thing we're doing right now that it's cold, is auto dialer phone banking. We gather together in our pajamas with hot cocoa in our house, and we make calls together using an auto dialer. So you don't have to dial a number. You don't have to use your personal phone number that people are seeing. It's all organized. We're reaching out to strong Dems, having conversations about what they care about, and introducing me as a candidate. And it is my favorite part of the week. So we are doing our next one this Thursday. You can go and see all of our upcoming auto dialer phone shifts on my website under events at votenatalieprice.com. And if you are in this room and you've done a shift on the auto dialer with me and my team, if you'd be brave enough to raise your hand, I know there are a few in here, feel free to talk to each other about what it's like. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot warmer than being outdoors. It's on Zoom. So you need the best way to do it. I think there's a way to just do it on your phone. I've never tried. But the best way is to have a computer or tablet on Zoom in front of you. There'll be a script. It'll all be automated. And then you hold up your phone to your ear, and you never have to dial or push end. It's just all automated, and you're making calls. But there will be a training at the beginning of the session on Zoom with me and my team. And then the last one, thank you, Deb, so much for hosting a house party. She has flyers for her house party in the back. So if you're interested in coming out, bringing out a neighbor or friend that's never met me before, talk to Deb. I'd love that opportunity to get to know some more people. Do I have time for questions? Or are you ready to move it on? One or two questions if there are any. Yes.
So pursuant to the legislative side,
sure.
How is it, like, I guess, what is the loophole that the House used that a single body could pull back funds that were approved by all, like, both bodies and the governor?
So this was a minor rule of procedure. It had been applied once ever in the history for a very narrow appropriation that had been made, that the Appropriations Committee made a decision and voted that it shouldn't be allowed to continue. Why that loophole was originally designed, created, I don't know. I do know that, again, this is a thing that had been used once before in a very narrow situation, that this time the Speaker of the House and Ann Boleyn, the Appropriations Chair, decided to just apply it in a huge way to a ton of projects, that they should not be able to do it this way. So that it will be resolved eventually in court.
Okay.
But at that point, it will be too late for those important organizations and municipalities to get the money in time. If, when the Senate rushed back in and voted that supplemental out before the new year, and then we had put it up on the board in the House and got it voted out of the House, and then the governor had signed it, there would have been a real effort to get that money restored back into those organizations that need it. But that required Matt Hall to put up on the board a restoration of the money that he unilaterally decided he was going to disapprove. Which, by the way, like, I encourage you guys to go and watch. I have a clip on my socials, but a lot of other reps do too. The moment when that Appropriations Committee made that decision, it was like 3 minutes. It was made very clear that there would be no questions, no discussion, no amendments. Those Republicans did not know what they were voting on. One of the ironies with this is that one of the reps voted to disapprove money for a building that was being built named after his father. Like, again, you can't make this stuff up, but like, they didn't even know what they were voting on. This is, again, really part of the problem of so much power being consolidated in a single person like the Speaker, but also having a Speaker like Trump, who is just claiming that he has powers that he shouldn't have. And then, oh, we'll figure that out in the courts eventually. So what do we need to do? We need to keep stepping up. We need to call it out. We need to keep fighting to bring back Democratic control. Because when we have Democratic control, we believe that there's a role for government to help people in a way that they fundamentally don't. We will be building up people over corporate profits, and we will be able to restore faith in government as I believe we need.
Do we know of any lawsuits?
So the Attorney General and the Senate are both involved in pending litigation against this action.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hurry up a lawsuit. Oh. 2 questions. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie.
Night, early today, my direction,
We'll be doing your business after these reports.
armed forces conducted an extraordinary military
Any more elected officials who want to speak?
Venezuela.
Paul Bastian, come on up. Paul Bastian, newly elected in the city.
Hello, happy Saturday. Thank you to whoever got the wireless mic system together. That's fantastic. Congratulations to all of our officers. Again, thank you for serving. That's a big deal. For those that I haven't met yet, Paul Bastian, newly elected city commissioner. Thank you again. We did it in 25. Let's do it again in 26. So a couple of things have happened since our last meeting together. I have been put through the training for new commissioners. And a couple of people asked me if that's like drinking from the fire hose. It's not. It's like having someone open up a fire hydrant and put your face right in front of it. But I have met all of the heads of the city departments and made some fantastic connections that will ultimately be able to serve the community and, of course, all of you. One thing that I have found is that as a candidate, you go into office once elected with some ideas of what you want to do. And then the community tells you what they want you to do. A couple of members of our community, Pastor Jeff Nelson from the First United Methodist Church and Jay Dunstan, who many of you may know, came to a city commission meeting a couple of weeks ago. And the First United Methodist Church has a separate 501c3 that helps our unhoused neighbors. And what Pastor Jeff and what Jay came to with the commission asking for is, in their words, a citywide strategy to address the needs of our unhoused neighbors during extreme weather events. I'm sure you've all noticed this has been an exceptionally cold winter in Michigan, and climate change is real, and sometimes our summers get very hot. And as it stands right now, the city doesn't have a citywide strategy of how to take care of our most vulnerable neighbors. So they came to us. I've kind of picked up the ball on this. I have meetings set with members from First United Methodist Church, the Genesis Church, and St. John's Episcopal. The ask that I have for all of you is that if you belong to a faith-based community that I have not just named, I'm thinking about St. Mary's, I'm thinking about Shrine, I'm thinking about the Star Church, please get in touch with me. I have business cards on me. You can also go to royaloakmichigan.gov and find my contact information there. I want to connect with our faith-based community in order to help develop that citywide strategy. Because what I've found is there are already a lot of people that are doing work in this space, but it's not coordinated. Yeah. And if I can just be a connector, you know, I'm not trying to solve the homeless problem. I wish I could. But if we can collectively, as a faith-based community and as the city government, come together to have a plan and to find a way to take care of those vulnerable among us, that's at least a start. All I'm looking for is a start. So if you can help me connect with others from the faith-based community, I would appreciate it. Besides that, I'm sure you all know we are in the process of looking for a new city manager. That was like just not even a frying pan, just right into the fire. Hey, Paul, first meeting that you have, we're going to vote on this. Like, oh, okay, great. So that's all I'll say about that. But we are in the process. We are looking for a new city manager. We hope to do that efficiently and quickly. Any questions from the gallery? Yes.
So I read in the newspaper, I don't know if it's true, that the city has been through 5 city managers in 5 years. Is that true?
2 of them are temporary.
2 of them were temporary. 2 of them were
So
temporary.
you've been through 3 city managers in 5 years?
It's more like about 8 years. Paul Drake was in for a few years. There were a couple of interim city managers. Mr. Gotcha was in, and then now we have the dual interim city managers, which are our city attorney, Nick Wachowski, and our police chief, Michael Moore. Nick, the city attorney, is handling all of the city staff, and then Mike Moore is handling fire, police, and VPS.
I didn't know
For the
whether,
time being.
I didn't know if your group discusses things like this, but it's very, very hard on staff to have that kind of turnover.
We absolutely discuss that. You'll have to trust me, plenty of discussion happens, we're certain. Any other questions? Yes.
Just looking at this item on the agenda, we're asking club members to attend city commission meetings so that our commissioner and mayor can receive support from friendly people in the crowd. If you're going in there, it's been a while since I've been to a city commission meeting, so.
Well, we welcome you back.
Yeah, are you dealing with unfriendly, or prepared to deal with unfriendly members in the crowd, or just intent on being unfriendly, or?
Well,
interesting ads.
something that the folks on the other side of the fence tend to do very well is they show up. And they are very vocal, and they are organized in as much as when they want their opinions heard, they make sure to show up to city commission meetings and planning meetings and make their opinions heard. I have been fortunate in that I've only been on the dais for a few meetings and everybody's been friendly, but I have attended meetings over the course of the past several years and they do get very contentious. So yes, we would like to see more folks from the Royal Oak Dems and people who agree with the policies that the mayor and the commission put forth show up and speak. Showing up is one thing and that's fantastic and we appreciate it. Speaking at public comment, which happens very early on in the meetings, is even more appreciated because unfortunately there are some of those in the public space that are trying to make their bones by kind of skewering the policies that the mayor and the city commission have historically put forth. And what gets heard is what gets reported in the press, unfortunately. And so, yes, we would like more friendly faces and more friendly voices at public comment. Anybody else? Wonderful. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Paul. Any elected officials that would like to speak?
All right, school board, Lauren Jasinski. Welcome, Lauren.
Happy New Year. I will be really quick, but there are 3 things I want to mention to you. For those of you that I haven't met before, my name is Lauren Jasinski. I am one of the Royal Oak School Board trustees. There's 2 events that I wanted to put on your radar that we would love for community members to join us at. Whoa, I'm rolling away. I won't be on that. On Monday, January 19th, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we have what's called a day on, not a day off. A lot of organizations and institutions are kind of adopting this model. But Royal Oak Schools has partnered with Swanson Community Schools and Berkeley Public Schools. And we rotate an event between our 3 campuses every year. Royal Oak hosted last year, and Clawson is hosting this year for a day of service for our communities, our students, and our staff. So the schools are closed. We don't have class that day. Teachers are not obligated to participate in anything, but we encourage our community to join us in this day of service. It starts at 9:30 in the morning. And we have a little peace walk kind of around the community, weather permitting. And then we go indoors for some community building and community and service project events. We make blankets that we send to the hospital for some young people. We make thank you cards for different public servants in our community. We collect donations of food and hygiene products that we then sort and give to some local organizations. So that's happening on Monday, January 19th from 9 a.m. to 11:30. The walk starts around 9:30 and then it's immediately followed by those service projects. It's just a really, really beautiful day and a great way to, meet some different people and join us in service. So that is happening, like I said, on Monday, the 19th. Is there anybody in the room that is a Royal Oak Schools alumni? A few. Okay. All right, cool. So we would love for you, yeah, Kurt, you're involved in this. We would love for you to join us because the ROMS building, right? So if you've been in the community for a while, you know that as several different things, right? Dondero High School, right? Yeah. Dondero High School now, which is Royal Oak Middle School. It's the one on Washington and Fourth, or Washington and what's the
Farnham,
Farm, yeah.
Glen Fry Drive.
Washington and Farnham. Yeah, on Glen Fry Drive. That building is turning 100 years old this year. It was built in 1926. We did a similar celebration and activity for the Oakland Elementary building last year because that building turned 100 years old. And so we're planning a similar celebration this coming fall. And we need community members and alumni to help us in the planning of that. There's going to be music and tours of the building. You're going to be working with the middle school students kind of in that planning, but we need to begin developing that planning committee. And the first meeting of that is the 20th, so January 20th in the evening at 6:30. Just get with me if you want any more details about that. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that you are going to hear us begin talking about a school's bond in the coming months. I know that this is a really, really difficult time for people to talk about asking for money, right? That we're faced with this affordability crisis, rising prices, right? The promised decrease in groceries is not happening. And then at the same time, you have more and more services also cut, right? And that you have the most vulnerable, and specifically our students, right? Underfunded and schools underfunded perpetually. So we are going to be seeking a bond on the 2026 ballot. You're going to, like I said, see more and more information about that, but we do need allies of public schools to kind of join us and talk about the things that public schools offer our communities and talk about the fact that schools need to fill that gap that the state and federal government are not giving in terms of support to continue to do the things that we can do, right? We are not talking about building brand new buildings. We are not talking about building state-of-the-art facilities in any way. This is literally to like keep our lights on and keep our staff employed and keep our students safe. It is not going to be an increase to taxes. It's a continuation of a current bond that we have. So we're not asking for more money, but there have been a lot of bonds that failed last fall because of a lot of criticism from communities, distrust in public schools and elected officials. And so we're just really asking for, support and goodwill and good faith in the fact that we're going to use that money effectively. Just kind of like a little example of something that happened legislatively. Did Natalie step out? One of the things that got hidden in the state budget that passed in all of its infinite wisdom in 16 hours was that there was a provision that a grant that was guaranteed to public schools in the state of Michigan for safety and student mental health got tied to the fact that a school had, just bear with me for a second, if a school district experienced a mass casualty event, they had to promise to waive their right to counsel in order to receive this mental health money. To be paid out this money that was already granted to us, that was already in our budgets, that was already assigned for, right? This is money that pays for school resource officers to keep our students safe, to pay for mental health support and social workers and counselors. A school had to say, yes, we will only accept that money if we waive our right to counsel. Royal Oak was forced to say no to that money. It's not an overwhelming amount of money, but it was still money that we had planned on having that we now need to make up for in other ways, right? These kinds of things are happening left and right, and they're being done in really insidious ways. We need to flip the House back to Democratic control, but until we do that, this is the budget that we're working with, right? So these are the kinds of reasons that we need this continued money to be able to do the things that we do to support kids. So, okay. I know, right? Yeah. God, beginning of the year, it's hard. Any brief questions for me about schools? Yeah, Paul.
Not a question so much, but a comment. I saw that Royal Oak schools now have Care Solace.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic program. Thank you for any hand you might have had bringing that in. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, we're really, really proud of that. I'm not going to take any credit for that at all. That is entirely our brand new superintendent, John. So Care Solace is a program that we now offer. We are able to do this for $3 a student. That's all it's costing us. That this is now, Care Solace is an incredible program that basically serves as the in-between person for any person seeking medical care, mental health support, emergency help with prescriptions, anything like that, and the provider. So like all of the time that you spend searching for providers, doing research about a therapist that fits your insurance, tracking that Rite Aid just closed, and then your prescriptions get sent to other places. All that in between time that you spend asking questions about that takes up a huge amount of time and is an incredible barrier to a lot of families. So what Care Solace does is that they have all of the relationships kind of in that network that take out all of the time in between that you would take looking for providers, getting questions answered, matching up your insurance, all of those kinds of things. And that program is now available to every single one of our students, any of their direct family members, any person that lives in the home of that student. So if you have a multi-generational family, it includes anyone who is living with you, and all of our staff and anybody that lives with our staff. So for $3 a student, right, about $15,000, we are able to provide the service for that entire community of people. And we're really, really proud of it. And it's going to save people time. In the first week that this was rolled out, in the first 5 days that we rolled this out in November, the program was used 36 times. Yep. And we're working with the courts to expand it to the courts, which is really good. Okay, cool. Anything else? Yay.
Thank you, Lauren. Any other elected officials that want to speak? Elected officials. All right, we're going to go to candidate reports. Candidates want to speak. We'll start with Amanda Treppa. Welcome, Amanda Treppa.
Happy New Year. Just gonna try to keep this brief because I know we've gone for a while. I'm very, very, very happy to see the College of Dems here today. Our campaign was built literally by Michigan College Dems. We're very proud, and I'm very honored to be endorsed by Oakland University College Dems. And when I tell you, when nobody thought that this could be a campaign, the College Dems were like, "We'll try it anyway." And I was like, "Seriously?" And they worked their butts off. And that first quarter, I can just say that they knocked our socks off. And thank you so much for believing. I'm getting emotional. Love Alec, love Stella. Anyhow, I'll bring it on back. We made it through 2025. It's 2026. It's a very scary thing to say a little bit, but a very exciting thing to say. What I've loved most about this last year, so many people in this room that I'm looking at invested in us, have made us make history. As a first-time state Senate candidate, we raised the most from someone who was not funded and no corporate money, which was a really, really proud moment. Thank you, Callie. That's really hard to do. I mean, money in politics is really, really scary. And when I tell you, especially like, I've spent the last over 2.5 years in Lansing, but from the advocacy side, right? So I've gotten to know some of these people, but I will tell you, when you go there as a candidate, offers are made. When people are like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to try opening up a little account here?" I'm telling you, that has literally been sent to my face. And I've had to tell people, we're not doing it under any circumstance. And it's really uncomfortable, mainly for them. I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is a people powered movement, but that's how we're going to do it. That is my commitment. That's always been my commitment as well to the College of Dems, is consistency and leadership. That you're not going to wake up one day and suddenly be like, Amanda turned into a totally different person. I never knew she didn't care about this or that. And that brings me to the point of what resonated the most, and that I think all of us as Democrats really need to focus on in 2026, is our messaging. Because we say values a lot, and you're going to hear me not say that a lot, because what I want us to start realizing is when we talk about healthcare, affordable housing, safe schools, those aren't values, those are rights. And we need to start approaching it from the point that it is a right. So when I'm reaching across the aisle, or if I'm trying to go toe to toe with someone, I'm fighting for my rights every day. I'm not fighting for my value because a value makes it seem sometimes like it's up for discussion. And I don't think we should make it up for discussion. I think that every single person deserves to have universal health care. I'm a huge fan of it. I don't see why we don't have it, like I do know why. But I don't see why down the line we shouldn't have that. Everyone should be able to have a nice warm bed at night. That should be a bare minimum right and requirement. So that is what resonated last year on our campaign. We're going to keep that going in 2026. And we have some great community conversations. We're going on a little conversation tour, hitting every single city in the district. We've also already knocked doors in every city in the district. We posted it was 2,000 doors. As of like this week, now it's 3,000 doors we've hit. But we are going to go in Centerline because some of the district is Macomb County. That's our first stop on the 17th. We also have another stop in Ferndale, and that is on the 28th. And you can find that on our website, treppaformichigan.com. It's on social media. And if you'd like to volunteer, we've been phone banking since July, and we do that every Wednesday night, and happy to give you details on that. And we've just been really set up for success. And I have to thank so many people who are in this room, the room of Dems. I know some of you are like, what are you doing? You're a crazy lady. This is the silliest thing. We already like had things figured out, but you really opened up your hearts. And especially after our last cabaret that we had, our last fundraiser, there were a lot of surprises that walked into the room. And I appreciate that we've all been uniting that no matter who comes out the other side, August 5th, that we're all one. And that's what matters as Democrats in 2026. All these primaries, we are still one on August 5th because the other side is waiting. They are waiting to see how badly we fracture each other. And I know that that has been said to my face in Lansing as well. So it's going to be a really big point to make sure we stand together. And like I said, please feel free to reach out to me about any of our community conversations. They are free. I'm not going to ask you for money at them. Luke, you can raise your hand, is also a member of my team. You'll meet him. Chris, you've all met Tina. We have so many more great people along with the college Dems. So thanks. Oh yeah, you can do questions. Sure. No questions. Listen, if every single time it would go like that, I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much. All right, any more state candidates? Kelly, come on up, and then we'll do Dave after that. All right, we'll do, yep, no, come on up. So we'll do Elizabeth Dery first, and then we'll do Kelly. Come on up. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Michelle Pallas. My middle name is Dery, and that is not a coincidence that I am the campaign manager for Elizabeth Dery, running for probate judge. We have been working all year long, and I just want to give you an update on where we are. So it's exciting. I'm excited to tell you that we sent in our signatures on December 2nd, and now we are in the wait state to see who else shows up on April 21st. We do know there is one other person that is collecting signatures. Her name is Jessica Hallmark, and we don't know if she'll get all the signatures, so we'll wait and see what happens. There is, if you see the petition, please do not sign it, because if you've signed Elizabeth Dery's petition, it will invalidate both. So you can only sign one for Oakland County probate judge. So I just wanted to let you know that. So please don't sign for Jessica Hallmark. The opposition is somebody who is the daughter of a retired judge who is Linda Hallmark. So she does have name recognition. So we are doing everything we can now to plan for our marketing to get the name recognition for Dery out there. So we're working on that. She is a judicial nonpartisan, and we cannot fundraise until February 16th. So we are putting together our plan to tap all family and friends first on the 16th of February. So that's one of the things that we are working on, as well as endorsements and influencers. So If you have recommendations for endorsements who are influencing, because sometimes they're people who don't have the official title, but they're influencers in your community, please let me know if there's somebody that we should be tapping. Those are what are really going to get to the voters, the people who really are in the community. And we have some plans for that. If you want to volunteer for our campaign, I would love to hear from you. We are working on team development. I will pass around this sheet, and we will do, I promise you, once a month, we will do an update newsletter just to let you know what's going on with the campaign. So all you have to do is give me your email if you would like to have be on the newsletter. If you want to volunteer, let me know, and we will contact you. You can give me your phone number as well, and I'll text you. And then lawn signs. No, we are not putting lawn signs out right now, but we are organizing for lawn signs because that's how I need to know how many lawn signs for budgeting purposes. So Amanda, yeah, I know what that is. It's all about the money right now. It's all about the money. So I'll be passing that along. Like I said, our marketing will be about flip the ballot. I know you're partisan. This is a nonpartisan. It's on the back of it's probably on the back of the ballot. And 1/3 of voters do not vote in the nonpartisan section of the ballot. So that's a huge opportunity for us to all work together to educate people. That's all I have, and I'll pass these out for you.
Kelly Scales, come on up. Introduce yourself and what your office is.
Good afternoon, friends. Happy New Year. My name is Callie Scales, and I am running for state representative next year, or this year now. I guess we're in 2026. I'm running for state representative this year in District 5, which is Oak Park, Royal Oak Township, and Northwest Detroit. I am running to be the first trans person ever elected to office in Michigan, but I am not doing that alone. There are actually 4 of us running this cycle. We call ourselves the Dollhouse, so that's going to be fun. So at least one of us, but ideally 4 of us will win, and we'll have the beginnings of a trans caucus. So that'll be fantastic. I'm running my campaign. It's called Back to Basics, AEIOU. I told you a little bit about it when I spoke as chair of the LGBTQI Rights Committee over, what was that, August-ish? August, yeah, that sounds right. So AEIOU, autonomy, because I believe everyone has the right to their own body and everyone else has the right to mind their business. E for education, because it is our most solemn duty that we have to provide a good and affordable education that sets people up to succeed instead of starting them off behind the 8 ball. I for inclusivity, because we are unfailingly at our best when we are at our most inclusive. O for opportunities, because young, old, doesn't matter where you are, everyone needs an opportunity to get ahead, not just get ahead, but to thrive. And U for unions, because ultimately every major advancement in labor in this country has been on the backs of unions. Historically, that has not changed. That is not going to change. We need to have a good, strong union at our back, always. Now, like our college Dems, I also I don't accept any corporate money. I don't accept anything from DTE or any of it, and believe me, they would love for me to. But that means that I am, like college Dems, on the phone all the time begging for money. That has become my full-time job over the last year, which is just the best. Everyone loves it, and can tell you how much people like getting a call from me at 8 o'clock asking them for money. But to that end, I know obviously I'm not exactly in your district, but if you happen to know someone who lives in Oak Park, Royal Oak Township, or Northwest Detroit, please do send them my way. And on January 31st, we are going to be having a drag queen bingo fundraiser with drag queens performing from 5:15 right here in Royal Oak. So very proud to have them on board with this. It's going to be at the Sri Tanadar Community Center at 11 a.m. January 31st. There's going to be mimosas, brunch. We're going to have a good time. It'll be raunchy, I'm sure, but it's going to be a ton of fun. I hope I'll see you all there. If you're interested in attending and supporting my campaign in doing so, come find me after this. I've got the code to scan that you can get your tickets. Tickets are selling fast, but we'd love to have all of you there. It'll be a great time. Thank you.
All right, who's up next? Dave Lauer, come on up.
Carl. Before I introduce myself, it's my hat's off to your club for not only prioritizing, but engaging younger people and setting the cycle up of reciprocity to make sure that our party is strong and continues to be strong through 2026 and generations to come. So, and to Stella, she's proof that that works. So, my name is David Lauer. Grew up in Oakland County. I'm ready to be your next state representative for 6th District. Okay, so that's Birmingham down through Royal Oak, Berkeley, Beverly Hills, Huntington Woods, and just a sliver of Southfield. Okay, a little bit about me. I grew up with a family of educators, literally generations of educators. Okay? A couple things they instilled in me were one, we're all citizens in the world, and to give back and to give back often, to live truly a life of service. And that's something I carried into my professional life, my collegiate life, and it set me up to be the activist, the community organizer, the nonprofit leader that I am today. I was instrumental in setting up the Hands Off and No Kings protests here in Ferndale, growing those from 2,000 to 8,000 people. I run a camp for leadership development for at-risk youth at the University of Michigan. It's something I've built over the past decade. We're a national organization, actually international. We're at 12 different universities, 6th to 8th grade young men and women. It's a transformative program. I also bring a background of disaster relief. My team and myself personally organized a major disaster relief for the Red Cross and FEMA would not go during Superstorm Sandy. That's the Rockaways in Miller Beach. What that tells you about me is that I have a mind that thrives in disaster, okay, and chaos. All right, it's what I do. I find solutions. I organize people, and we grew that presence from biker gangs in LA, bringing truckloads of supplies to the Miller Beach area, and moms groups from Maine, bringing in, excuse me, the same amount. So a little bit more. I've been in the political trenches as well, federal, state, local, judicial campaigns over the past decade, starting with Hillary's campaign. I can tell you a lot more about myself, but it's all up on a website, all up on social media. You'll be hearing a lot more from me. I just wanted to say hi. Look forward to getting to know you. And please, I'm easily approachable, so come up, say hi. Love to talk to you. Thank you.
What's your website?
David Lauer, Lauer, and it's electdavidlauer.com. So, thank you.
Dems, I just put on the last email, his email website, so you guys can get it on the end of our email. By the way, he is running for what Natalie Price's seat currently is, just so you guys are clarify that. All right, who's up next for candidates? Come on up, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I do apologize for my coat. I hate the winter. Okay, it's cold here. So, my name is Thameka Hall, and I am running for Oakland County Circuit Court Judge. So a little different from the last candidate that was up here. I know I look very young, but I promise you I'm not with Stella and her crew. I have been practicing a little over 10 years now. I have practiced in various areas of law. One of the things I've noticed and what inspired me to want to run for this seat is that it's very important for a judge who's sitting on the bench to know the law, to know how to interpret the law, to know how to apply it, and their decision can have an adverse effect on the law in total. And so me being on the other side of the bench practicing before these judges, I know what it means to zealously advocate for your client and feel like you've done so much hard work and that work goes unnoticed because the judge decides to rule in a different light. I think it's very important also, as you know, that judges are nonpartisan. I think it's extremely important that any individual before a judge should not know which side that judge comes from. And sometimes that's the case. A judge should be fair, a judge should be non-biased, a judge should be able to make decisions that are according to the law. And I am an extreme advocate of that. I'm very passionate about what I do. I started my career as a expulsion hearing officer and outside counsel for Detroit Public Schools, which name has changed to Detroit Public Schools Community District. I then matriculated and started out with, or transferred my train of thought to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, where I served as a prosecutor for 4 years. I started out in juvenile law and then transferred to the adult. But one thing I noticed, this is a family court seat. So I think it's extremely important for the individual that's in the seat to know the law, not only know the law, but have the experience to do so, right? Practicing with juveniles, I found that I was able to kind of include both of my passions for law and young people. I have an extreme passion for young people. I think that mentoring is extremely important with our youth. They are our future leaders. And I found that it was very helpful for me to be able to sit at the seat with those who are part of the decision making when it comes to juvenile delinquency. Not just about punishment, not just about figuring out how much time they need to serve and those type of things, but actually really getting down to the root of it. What's the reason why this young person continues this cycle? Or what's the reason that they decided to make a mistake or decide to break the law in some form or fashion? I also witnessed a lot of adoptions while I was in juvenile. I witnessed a lot of broken homes, unfortunately, with children being taken away from their families, being subject to abuse. And I really found a passion for that. And that is why I'm extremely excited about this journey. I think that it's important that as voters to be educated on your candidates. Sometimes they can have a long laundry list of organizations that they're tied to and things of that sort. But please, please, please be very educated about who you vote for, who you put in those seats, especially judges, because they make the decisions that have long-term effects on us in the long run. So I'm currently practicing employment law where I assist individuals whose civil rights have been violated. I do a lot of federal practice. I'm licensed not only in the state of Michigan, but also the Eastern and Western District of Michigan and the Northern District of Illinois. So I am extremely excited. It has been a pleasure being in this meeting with you all today. I'm a resident of Southfield, but it's been an extreme joy and honor to be here before you all. I really enjoy how you all come to the table, you put your heads together, and you have amazing ideas and solutions. Solutions are important, right? So not just having the ideas, but being able to implement them. So thank you very much. Again, my name is Thameka Hall. I do have some information. I also have a website that's still up and coming. I am now in motion to try to get signatures so that my name can be on the ballot. I'm first time generation everything. So I'm starting from scratch, folks. Like, this is all new for me. It's scary, it's new, but I'm excited and committed to this journey. My website is electhallforjudge.com. That is also my personal handle on both Facebook and Instagram. So I look forward, if you haven't signed a candidate for the same seat as myself, I do have my petitions here today. I will be so honored and grateful if you sign my petition so that my name can appear on the ballot for office. Thank you again, and nice to meet you all.
Can you clarify that we can only sign for one circuit court judge?
Yes, so that's why we have to give that caveat. If you have signed already for an Oakland County Circuit Court judge, and it's okay, I still love you. But if you have not, I will be very honored if you sign my petition today. So you can only sign one if there's only one seat.
All right, that's all right. Thank you, Thameka. We gotta be really quick because I know we started late, but we are also running late.
Hi, my name is Victoria King, and I am running for the same seat as Thameka Hall. I was here December 10th, so everyone got to see me then. I will clarify that my experience right now is 14 years as a judicial staff attorney at Oakland County Circuit Court, the very court that I expect to take a seat and would like to run for and be there for you. In this climate, we need a judge who day one can start the job, understands how the courtroom works, understands where the bathrooms are, understands where everything is and who the resources are at the courthouse. I am that candidate. I understand what it takes to run the courthouse. I have worked in that position for 14 years. I am currently advising 20 circuit court judges and 7 visiting judges. And what that means is I work with them directly. I tell them, this is the way I would rule. This is what your choices are. This is what the law says. As you've already heard, this is a nonpartisan seat. You can only sign one petition. I do have them here with me. I have cards if you want to learn more about me. I have experience, I'm prepared, and I've proven my leadership in this role. And that's my quickness for you. Thank you.
Last person, real quick. Hey everybody, I'm Josh Perkey. I am a grateful servant of Team Sheriff Chris Swanson for Governor of Michigan. So first and foremost, I'm here today to just get to learn or know you fellows and understand you and how our campaign can make Michigan a more perfect Michigan for you. Second, I am here to collect petition signatures. I know you guys see I have my clipboard. I'll be posted up in the back afterwards. And just a little bit about me. I've lived in Royal Oak my entire life, 27 years, except for the 3 years I lived in Detroit when I went to Wayne State. I actually went to preschool in this very room and was sent in that corner for biting an individual. My grandpa lives at the very old house on the end of this street at Marias and 13th. And my grandpa started one of the first Democratic Party clubs in this area back in the 50s. But anyway, as for Sheriff Swanson, I mean, I joined the campaign through a sense of a moral imperative after observing what MAGA has done to this country. You know, if Trump is a tired, insane lunatic, Sheriff Swanson is a common sense breath of fresh air. And he's going to protect, serve, and unify. He's going to fight for every single person in this room's rights. And that's his platform. And I believe he's our path back to a Michigan that is, one state, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. So thank you guys for allowing me to talk, and I will be in the back of the room with my petition.
Thank you so much. Actually, you'll be in the lobby. Yep. So I'm sorry, guys, we are running late and they want the room back. So I am going to have to end this meeting right now. And I know we want a motion for, to commit some funds. Can somebody give me some real quick motions? That, no. Okay, we've got to go. So we'll talk about the donation to them in the future. We're going to stop this meeting right now. We'll put more stuff in the email for you guys. So look at your next email. I do need some help cleaning up. So thank you guys. You gotta get out of here though. So as much help cleaning up as possible.
Leave the chair. Leave the chair.
Just have the chairs, please.
Leave the chair. Leave the chair.
Leave the chair.
Leave the chairs. Sorry, leave the chairs.
Leave the chair. Leave the chair.
Hey, Nick. Yeah. Thanks.
Hi.
Hi. You love this house. I got it.
So good. So good.